In the year 2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. From the Gospel of John McAfee. Bro, just learn to code. The Project Freedom Podcast.
Boom. I'm Josh, and welcome to the Project Freedom Podcast, episode number 13, where we discuss anything and everything that has to do with freedom. Guys, I had a guest tonight who was supposed to come, but they have to postpone it because they got into a boating accident. Just kidding. He didn't get into a boating accident, but he's on a helicopter and doing some weird stuff, some secret, top secret stuff, guys. But he's going to join us on Monday. And also, guys, tomorrow I'm going to have Greg B on. Not tomorrow, excuse me, Wednesday. I'm going to have Greg B on again. We're going to talk about boomer finance. So I didn't really have a lot to prepare with tonight. I kind of had to throw together an impromptu thumbnail. But regardless, I have a bunch of stuff that I could easily talk about and would like to get off my chest anyway, because the world is the way that it is. And yeah, sometimes me, and I'm sure other people watching or listening would have to agree with it. You guys can see the lightning in the background. Again, this is like what, the fourth stream in a row with lightning. It's a sign, guys. It's a sign. It's a sign from our Lord and Savior, Satoshi Nakamoto. So, all right. What's up, guys, in the chat? Wade Emery says orange pill. Cody Mouse says, I don't know. I might have fun being poor. I've seen a crackhead clear a 6-foot chain link fence in a single build one time, and that was pretty fun. Yeah, I hear crack gives you amazing powers. Antonio says, sup, Gillis? What's up, Antonio? Nick Sledgian in the house says, helicopter accident, dropped my phone, sorry. Yeah, I dropped my phone, and I dropped my my paper wallet with my seed phrase in it. Antonio says, can we talk about QFS? Yeah, we can discuss that tonight. I got some other stuff to talk about as well. And we can probably, honestly, Antonio, I can probably tie in what I'm talking tonight with that, because it's a little bit relevant. Christian Soto says, Fook being poor. Yeah, exactly. Fook it. No one wants to be poor, right, guys? Let's just be honest here. Let everyone be honest here. Just be honest to yourselves, all right? And if you're not in the live stream tonight and you're just watching on the playback, be honest with yourself. If you are, I don't know, let's just say you're a guy, you're in your 20s, early 30s maybe, or you're a girl or whatever, you're a pink, purple, polka dotted dinosaur, and you envision your future, okay? You're thinking about your future. What do you think that it would be an ideal life to live in the future if it's problematic, if you don't have any money, if you don't have any skills, if you don't have anyone to talk to, anyone to be around, anyone to seek advice from, if you're just an overall miserable person, I would venture to say that that's not an ideal lifestyle to live, right? And, if you want to not have that be your outcome in life, then a lot of people need to have a huge mindset change, okay? And it's not just normies, guys. I mean, there's people that, it's non-normies too. It's crimson capsulars, it's dev pillars, it's orange pillars. I mean, a lot of guys kind of have that. A lot of people have the same problem, okay? And it's okay if this is your problem, but as long as you admit to yourself, like, okay, I have a problem with the way that I think and the way that I view the world, and I want a better life. So how can I get me some of that? All right. If you see a guy driving around town in a Lamborghini and you're like, dude, that guy, that car is so obnoxious. What a prick. What an asshole. Who wants to drive a bright lime green Lamborghini? Like, come on. If someone gave you the keys to that car, you'd be like, oh no, this is lime green and it's too loud. I don't really want a Lamborghini. I prefer to have my 1986 Toyota Corolla. No, right? Maybe you'll say that, but that's not how you actually feel inside, right? And people usually have a tendency to hate on people who have something in life that they do not, that have something in life that's potentially better than they do, right? And what you should do when that happens, all right, what you should do when you see somebody who has something better than you, okay, you need to be thinking to yourself, this guy, maybe this guy's like my age. How can he do that? Or someone has a skill that you don't have, and you instead of deeming them unfair or unworthy to have that skill, you think to yourself, that's actually something that I would like to do. How can I do that? And people don't do that, right? It's a trait of just regular human nature, all right? And I'll tell you guys why, all right? The reason people do that is because when you are imagining these things in your head, or when you're having to realize these things come together in your head, most people, they have to look at themselves in the mirror, right? Metaphorically speaking, like, okay, if you see a guy driving a Lamborghini and you don't have a Lamborghini, you don't have to like, oh fuck, I got to go upstairs real quick into my bathroom and look in the mirror, right? But it's a metaphorical look in the mirror. And it makes the person look into themselves and say, okay, this person has something that I don't have, therefore I am lacking, right? There's something about me that is void. And that's painful. That's a painful realization to come to, as opposed to doing the opposite and thinking, okay, this person has something that I don't have. There is a void. How can I fill that void? How can I fill that gap? How can I fill that void instead of, that's not fair. They shouldn't have that. Let me check in the chat again. Osa Chain with the orange pill and the licky tongue emoji. Yes. Christian Soda says F-U-C-K. Yeah, I mean, I knew it the first time when you said Fook, but Tom Graff in the house. Yo, what's up, my friend? Virens 4. What's up, gents? Cody Mouse just returned to Monkey at that point. Oh, just returned to Monk at that point. Yeah. Nick Sledge says, give me the Lambo. Yeah, good job, man. That's how we should be thinking. Give me the Lambo. I'll trade it for 2 Porsches. Yeah, I mean, Porsches are cool cars too, man. You leave my daily out of this, Josh. Oh, okay. Is your daily an 86 Corolla? Normie lifestyle equals being poor. Max Dignitas in the house says, we lie, baby. Yeah, Tom, admitting you're deficient is the first step. Yeah, that's okay. Tom, you're very correct about that. That's crucial because you can never get better at something. You can never accomplish something that you have a deficiency in if you can't admit that you have the deficiency, right? Because in order to fix the thing that you have a deficiency in or to become better at it, usually what that entails is having to seek out help, right? Having to seek help or guidance from someone else, or having to pull your resources together to get that help and guidance on your own. And that's a step further away from admitting to yourself that you have a deficiency, right? So all this, guys, and the whole point of this was all brought upon because last night in one of the DD webinars, one of the guys was talking, and we didn't go into any technical stuff in this webinar. It was just like a kind of free form thing. And one of the guys was talking in there, and we were about to end it. Like we were about to end the whole thing. We were about 2 hours in, and one of the guys goes, "Hey, I just have a random question about something that's not related to anything that we're talking about." And in a way, it was kind of related, but it also wasn't. And he said, "All right, so basically, ever since I started trying to better myself, it seems like everybody that I'm acquainted with just hates me now, right?" And he was talking about both his friends and his family, and just people that, I mean, maybe just acquaintances, people that he works with, or maybe not people who are like in his inner circle per se, but those people as well, right? And that's going to happen, guys. All right. A sad truth of reality, a sad fact of reality is that every time you do something better, okay, and you start to better your life, the people around you who are comfortable with you because they have you locked in a cage in this locked in a little box in their mind with this little vision of how they believe that you are, and you change, not only does it make them look in on themselves, right? And have to think like, fuck, this dude's doing something that I should be doing and I just can't because I feel like I'm paralyzed. I just can't. Not only does it do that, not only does it make them metaphorically look in the mirror, like I explained earlier, but at the same time, it's uncomfortable to them to have to readjust in their mind their vision of you, right? So let's just say, you were in high school, your whole 4 years in high school, you were kind of like the quiet, nerdy guy. And then, people picked on you, yada, 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 right? And then all of a sudden, like your senior year, the last couple months of your senior year, you went through your growth spurt and you started going to the gym and you maybe stopped being afraid to talk to girls. And now all of a sudden you're going to the parties with the normal kids and you're just becoming like a quote unquote popular high school kid, right? In the last few months of school. And out of nowhere, all the guys in your class are trying to pick fights with you. It's because, and they don't realize this, guys, but it's because they're making themselves uncomfortable by having to adjust their vision of you in their mind. See, people get comfortable psychologically when they want to keep people in a certain spot, all right? Or they keep people in a certain spot in their mind and how they view them, and it just makes them comfortable, all right? And in order to change that, it's just an overall generally uncomfortable process. But the people who see these things going on, they see people doing better than they are. They see other guys in their life making progress, making money, making muscle, eating sour gummy worms, all right? Then the ones that do that and say to themselves, man, this dude's popping off. Like this guy, he got that, he did that. Man, I should spend more time with him. I should learn what he's doing. I should ask him some questions so maybe I can, hopefully get some of that rubbed off of me and get the same result, right? Justin Schaefer, hey, new to the channel, love the thumbnail. Thank you, Justin. Like, comment, subscribe. Show me some love, my friend. Justin, your last name reminds me of Ashley Schaefer BMW from, what is that show? Eastbound and Down with Kenny Powers. That's a strong last name, my friend. It's a strong last name. I wish that was my last name. Tom Graff says crab bucket. Yeah, crabs in a bucket. I mean, that's exactly analogy I'm going over with right now, right? That's all this is, guys. Crabs in a bucket. And another sad reality is most people don't have the psychological capabilities, the energy levels, or the passion, drive, and desire to go and do those same things that you might want to do or that you're doing, right? So they're probably not going to look in on themselves and say, all right, I got to fix this problem. I gotta do what that dude's doing, or I gotta I gotta find a way maybe to just better myself. No, they're not going to do that. They're just going to kind of just rot in misery, right? Tom Graff, normies hating on you is a bullish indicator. Yep. Normies hating on you is indeed a bullish indicator. That means huge green dildos all over the place. Firings, people are whack. Sometimes they literally shame you for trying to better yourself. No, not sometimes. I mean, it's quite frequently, right? And I can think about this in plenty of different instances. Okay. Okay. Let me think of not something recently, because I can come up with a few things recently, but just in my past, like previously, maybe some deeper history. All right. So when I bought my first house, at the age of 27, which is pretty much like an abnormality for millennials, right? And it wasn't like a super baller house or anything. It was a duplex. It was a rental property. All right. And it was bright pink. It is currently still bright pink. And it wasn't super expensive. It was about, maybe a little more, maybe a little less than what someone would consider the average price of a first house. All right. Now it's worth a lot more now because of the this whole thing going on in the top right corner right here. Right. But excuse me, besides the fact, when I was buying that house, when I was getting prepared to buy that house, I went through a plethora, and I mean a plethora of just negativity and bullshit. And it was like maybe like a 12-month process in whole. But I mean, the last 6 months with the preparation and having to pinch every penny I could to throw money into savings, to just put the down payment on the house. And not even just that too, like having to pay for inspections, having to get this and that, having to fix things, having to deal with the rental tenant who was in the other side, who was, by the way, the hugest piece of shit ever. Like, and people who are close to me know they know everything that I went through with that guy. And man, people were telling me all the time, like, why would you buy a house in the middle and literally in the middle of downtown New Orleans? This is so dangerous. Don't you know that it's not safe? Why do you want to buy a duplex? Why do you want to rent out to people? Why would you do that? Well, your house is bright pink, as if I gave a fuck about the color of the house. Like, because I was never going to stay there, right? I'm living in Miami Beach now. Like, I'm not even in this house anymore, right? And that was all part of my plan. But other people didn't know that. And I'm not going to sit there and trying to spend the time to explain to people like, hey guys, I know that you were told that life is supposed to be done this certain way, but like I'm going this way over here. I'm not going that same way as you. So I don't need to explain that to people. Right. So I wouldn't bother wasting my time, effort, or energy explaining things to these people because I already had enough time having to spend battling this uphill battle to just get this house. And it was my first house, and I did it alone. Like I didn't have people like come and help me with finding a realtor. I didn't have people tell me like the nuances of buying a house, which by the way, there's a fuck ton. I didn't have people tell me the nuances of having to find tenants and having to deal with them and vet them. Okay. I had a really shitty realtor, and I met this lady on an airplane before. And basically, guys, what happened in the end? This lady, she's supposed to be one of the best realtors in that whole state. Blah 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 blah. But she was just a money hungry piece of shit, quite frankly. She tried to suck as much extra money out of me in many different ways, and they did a lot of like weird stuff too. Like they wanted to keep checking my bank account balance like literally days in a row up to like months out from the loan. And like I was talking to other people, I even went and talked to my bank, and they're like, hey, this is like you should have just gone with us, man. It's essentially I just went through the loan officer that the realtor gave me. She was like, oh, it's going to be super easier this way, blah 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 blah. And again, I was dumb and naive, but it was part of a learning process, right? And the lady tried to at the day of closing, she tried to get me to give her like $2,000 in cash. Because I had to like the long story short, guys, but they made me, she told me that I couldn't pay for an insurance policy on the house out of my own pocket because of some like stupid reason, and that she had to put it on her credit card and that I could just give her cash on the day of closing. And I think it's because she was splitting it. I mean, obviously if you guys don't know, when you go and buy a house, if you have a realtor and the other party, the selling party has a realtor, both realtors get 3%, all right? And that's added up to a total of 6%, all right? But I believe she was in cahoots with the inspector and several other people, and this other realtor was as well. And I think that they were dividing that 6% up a lot in a lot more ways than two, and like under the table, right? And she was just trying to get as much money as she can. And like she was like, she was telling me that I was gonna get sued and this and that. I took some advice from the people in the Masculine Empowerment Network. I got my phone and I put it on record, and I went to the loan thing and I just recorded the whole thing, and I just like watched her squirm. And she was like, you got that stuff? She wouldn't even say like, do you have the $2,000? Because I think she knew that I was, smart enough to like record, at least not be an idiot and record it in the future. Right. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And man, she like freaked the fuck out. And then, so yeah. And that's just one thing, one tiny part of the story, guys. I mean, this is a whole 6-month battle that I had. And then I get the house, and then people shit on me for it. So I had to fight into a war zone to get the house. All right, I had to deal with all kinds of bullshit. People tried to like hate on me for it, including my own family. They're like, it's an awful idea. You think it's so dumb to be buying a house and like this and that, especially a house in the middle of New Orleans. No, and again, no one knew my plan. No one knew my plan that I had, and I wasn't going to, I wasn't going to sit there and try to justify it to people. Then I followed the tenants, and this would break or that would break, and I would basically fix things immediately. My tenant left his AC on like 62 degrees and basically froze AC, and power kept going to that line, and something happened, and basically he blew his circuit breaker. It almost caught the house on fire. Like the circuit breaker caught on fire. Now, luckily, was able to stop it, and I was able to get on July 4th last year. Was able to get someone out there ASAP to fix it. All right, and I was overly nice to this guy too. I let him have like 5 people living in the house and kind of turned a blind eye to it because like, it's not, not going to be one of those realtors who's like, hey, hey boy, who you got staying over in your house? And basically the guy was always late for rent, always late, never paid me a late fee. One time he had to go 3 months without payment and I had to get all paid back in the end through the government because it was, crab 19 was going on and he had a mental illness. So he was able to go to a social worker and get them to pay it. And every single time I had to ask for, because I would have to ask the guy who he was a 39-year-old adult. All right. A 39-year-old adult. I had to ask him for his rent. He would be so angry and so mad. And he would attack me on my personal character. He would literally attack me on personal character. He would do things. He called me like a dirty Cubano, even though I'm not even Cuban. I'm fucking Italian. So he was a racist and he wasn't even a good racist. And it's funny because he happened to come from a group of people of certain type of pink, purple, polka dotted dinosaurs that, if you were to call them out for being a rainbow, pink, purple, polka dotted dinosaur, they would be like, you're an awful, awful person, right? And of course, I would never, ever even waste the time and energy to go and do that and call him out for that, right? But he had no problem being racially prejudiced to me incorrectly, by the way. He wasn't even a good fucking racist. And this is the stuff I'm talking about, guys. Okay. And this guy, 39 years old, right? 39 years old, renting from someone who was 27 and then 28 at the time. All right. 29 now, guys. But, and instead of having to admit to himself, all right, I'm always late on rent because I'm being a fucking idiot. And I just simply can't get a hold of my finances correctly. I should learn how to not be late on my rent and just simply get a better hold of my finances. Maybe not buy the brand new 64-inch screen TV that I would see outside the house the day before rent was due in a box, right? Maybe not buy brand new suits when you work at a hotel, right? And then maybe you could afford your rent, right? And then maybe if they would have done what I did, slowly but surely over time, they would have been able to accumulate more money and more income to level up and better themselves in life, right? But that's not, people like that rarely ever do that, okay? And that's the point. We don't want to be like that. Kyle W in the house says, what's up? Have to get away from the normies. Yeah, and guys, that includes family too. My family, my dad, we should talk about this too. This is juicy as well. My dad is a pretty based boomer. All right. My dad is quasi orange pilled. All right. He's quasi orange pilled, but in his mind, he's like, I'm too old. I'm not going to be alive to like have to deal with the financial repercussions of the United States federal government's not inability to do due diligence. And but he's a based boomer, but he's still a boomer nonetheless. All right. And today he texted me and I got a message and it was like, what exactly did he say? He was like, hey, I'm really worried about that new strain of the crab scam pandemic. I don't even know what word I should use for virus on YouTube that the algorithm won't get angry at me for. But I think you guys know what I mean. That thing that came from that country. That came from that country all the way in the eastern side of the world, right? The thing that came from the bats, that thing, right? Apparently from the bats, right? He's like, oh, there's a new variant of this thing going out now, and it's affecting people, and it's people your age are not surviving. I'm asking you, please, Josh, please go get the jab. Please, for me. I was like, I woke up to that this morning and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That's the most boomer thing I've heard you say in probably the last 10 years. I couldn't believe that he said it to me. And it's nothing on him, right? But he is a boomer nonetheless. And boomers, for the majority of the part, are also very guilty of this very like narrow old world thinking, okay? And we'll just call it that. Instead of call it normie think, instead of call it being jealous, it's just old world thinking. And I'm not saying my dad's one of those people who would like, have the inability to look in on himself if someone's doing better and not level up in life. My dad did great for himself. He did pretty good for an old guy. But he's also unwilling to like accept some realities of the world that are pretty obvious and plain to see. Okay, so for example, guys, I mean, let's just talk about one of my favorite things to talk about: the orange pill, right? This guy right here. This guy right here. All right, the orange pill. So, what about the orange pill that my orange pillars in here know? You guys know, the NGU technology, right? Everyone knows. Everyone here understands NGU technology. For the guys who are new and don't know or aren't previous viewers, NGU stands for number go up. All right, number go up technology. All right, and this is the thing that's become a meme, but it's actually reality, right? The way that this thing right here and this thing on the top right was designed for a purpose to basically destroy and suck up the current monetary system, which is just essentially a very, very poorly done Ponzi scheme. Light, you cannot eat my Bitcoin pillow. Maybe I can't even say that word anymore. Be careful what we say. We talk about the orange, guys. We talk about the orange coin. We might get in trouble, right? Let me go pick this up so my dog doesn't eat it. He seems to think that it's a stuffed animal, but it surely is not, my friend. But what do we know about that? Okay, it solves a bunch of problems, right? It solves a bunch of problems, and even though it does this, very few people are aware of that, right? Very few people in the United States even know what the Federal Reserve is. Okay, I was talking about this on a previous stream. I have a buddy who I helped him out with his portfolio a little bit by just giving him like basic newbie advice. I basically told him just buy ETH. All right, put most of your money in ETH this year, and I don't know if you got like 1,000 or two to throw in some junk just for some degenerate gambling. Go for it, dude. And he actually sold out at the top of ETH so far when it was like 4,000 something. All right, and then he bought back into the bottom, and he like basically doubled up on his ETH. And he was able to take some of his profits on the side and get a down payment for a car. All right, that for his daughter, because he has a baby daughter now. And before he was driving what are those 2-door Toyotas, guys? Toyota Spider. He's driving a Toyota Spider. Not an ideal car for a child, right? And he's consumed some of the orange pill content, not my stuff. I don't think he even knows I have a YouTube, but he's consumed some orange pill content, and he actually follows. I don't know. I think some guys, you guys have heard this story before, right? He actually follows John from Modern Life Dating on Instagram at Hot Dude Life. So go give him a follow, guys. If you don't follow him, because he's hilarious and a very respectable and person that is filled with knowledge. And John was talking about the Federal Reserve and the orange pill, and Tim was like, hey, I saw this story from Hot Dude Life. Like, what does it mean to have more money in the Federal Reserve in Bitcoin than in the Federal Reserve? And I was like, do you know what the Federal Reserve is? And then he just sent me a screenshot of his like bank account. And then he sent me a picture of his wallet balance with all his different coins and tokens. And he was like, I do have more money in crypto than in the Federal Reserve. And I was like, no, dude, like that's your bank account. Like the Federal Reserve is an entity that basically creates fiat currency. Specifically, our Federal Reserve is the entity that creates the United States dollar, right? And he was like, "Oh, I don't really know what you mean by that." And this guy's not dumb, guys. He's not a fucking idiot. He's a small business owner who does quite well for himself. And he didn't know what the Federal Reserve is. Okay, and this is someone I've been knowing since probably like my ninth grade year of high school. For a long time. So people just don't know this stuff, right? Boomers, for example, they're a part of that. They don't know a lot of the things that are just no longer a quote unquote CONSPIRACY. Maybe we shouldn't say that word either, right? Guys, I still don't have another tinfoil hat. Although I do have tinfoil in the kitchen, so next time I should somebody ping me on Telegram and Instagram or remind me to bring the tinfoil hat next time. That way, if the overlords of the platform that we're on right now don't like it, and if I put it on beforehand, maybe they can't hear what we're saying and they can't read my thoughts. So maybe the algorithm won't work. But anyway, people don't know this kind of stuff, and it's not a conspiracy when things are just like blatantly not just obvious, but infallibly factual, right? Like, okay, the Federal Reserve is a real thing. It's not conspiracy that this entity exists, right? The way that they go about to create currency, right, is also a real thing. People don't know that either, right? But that's all. It is also a reality, right? And if you guys don't know how the Federal Reserve goes about creating their currency, I mean, I can explain that. I'll try to do it the best I can, extremely briefly here. But essentially what this entity does is they buy pieces of paper from the government, the United States government, that says, "Hey, we owe you money in the future," and they say, "Okay, we have an asset now, all right," and then they have more assets on their balance sheet, and therefore they can print more money because it's backed by this asset, right? If you guys in here know Tether, Tether is basically like a digital Federal Reserve, right? And people are always freaking out like, oh, the Tether FUD, like Tether's not really backed by anything. Guys, I hate to tell it to you guys, but the United States dollar is really not backed by much either. Now, the Federal Reserve does have like real estate in their portfolio. Apparently they have gold in their portfolio. Speaking of, whatever happened to the gold in Fort Knox? Has anyone ever seen that gold? Let me pause real quick and get caught with the chat. Kyle W says, especially family. Yeah. So, and the thing about family is, guys, too, like, you know, I'm not going to tell you guys that if your family is like, you know, negative towards you passive aggressively because you want to do better in your life. I'm not telling you guys that you need to be like, oh man, fuck you, mom and dad. Fuck you, cousin Ray. I'm putting y'all out of my life for real, fool. Like, you don't have, you're very welcome to do that, right? And you are a free and sovereign individual, even though this country doesn't really seem like, this country and the whole world doesn't seem like we're very free anymore. You're free to do that if you want. But it's not necessary to do that, guys. Like, what you can do with especially with family, like, you just simply keep them at a healthy arm's length. All right. Maybe you move 1,000 miles away, and maybe, you talk to them on the phone regularly. You respect your parents where respect is due, right? Maybe your parents never earned any respect because they were absent in your life and they sent you to an orphanage and came back at the age of 18 after you were a millionaire to take your money. All right, then maybe in that case, don't respect them. But I'm talking about people who have actual families, right? Not that the other people would not have actual families, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Just, probably most of you guys in the chat, regardless of whether you were raised by a single mom or a single dad, I'm not saying to you guys that, if your parents are negative, your family's negative, that you have to be like, all right, get the fuck away from me. Again, you can, but it's better, in my opinion, to just, instead of like have fight with them or argue with them about stuff, just keep them at a healthy arm's distance, keep them at a healthy arm's length. And I do that to my family too. And my family's not a piece of shit. I actually have a very, like, quote unquote good, I came from a good, normal, normie Christian family, guys, a Catholic family from the Catholic city of New Orleans, Louisiana. All right. Now that there's obviously problems in the family, there's problems in every family, unless you're, one of the families on the TV. But my dad, he even though he's a quote unquote base boomer, again, he's a boomer. So like the fact for him to have to and slowly and surely over the last decade, for him to have to come to grips with the fact that the news is potentially lying to you, and that the news potentially doesn't love you and potentially doesn't care about your well-being, and that quite possibly just the possibility of this makes him uncomfortable, but quite possibly that the news could be used as a tool by people to pass a certain agenda, and that in boomers' minds, that's like, no way. This is blasphemy. That's the same thing as telling, it's the same thing as going back in the medieval times and going up to the king and being like, you are not given power by God. God isn't real. Stop the steal. And then being blasphemy. It's the same thing, right? So, they can't necessarily accept the truth, even though it's in their face. All right. And it's just because they've most likely, for most boomers, it's probably too late for them to wake up. All right. And I'm not saying that to be negative, but reality is they've lived way too many years of their life being told the opposite, being conditioned to believe the opposite. And so to undo that, it would probably take, an equal amount of years to go back to reality, right? Back to the real reality that a lot of us live in, right? Cody Mouse says chai-NAH. Yes. Antonio says this is, I probably also shouldn't say that because that's probably unliked by the Al Gore rhythm. Christian Soto says a Instagram link, Hot Dude Life in the chat. Yep, that is his link. Babe Hunger says reverse, Josh. Government buys money from the feds. Yeah, I mean, that too. Like, okay, so basically the government creates bonds, right? And then they give it to the Fed, all right? And that's basically the act of them buying the money from the Fed, all right? And the government tells them, okay, you can circulate this in banks, and then banks go and circulate it, and so on and so forth. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's bullshit. Mike in the chat says Henry Ford said, if the average person knew how central banking works, there would be a revolution the next day or something like that. Yeah, I do remember that quote, Mike. Thank you for reminding me. That is actually and indeed a very real quote by Henry Ford. There was a Andrew Jackson, regardless of what you think or feel about the guy, because he's a very infamous known president of the United States, right? He had basically a campaign, like the Federal Reserve and central banks from elsewhere in the world came back to America when he was around, and he had a campaign to get rid of them, and he did get rid of them temporarily. Offie Kingdom podcast in the chat, fire signs. Thank you, Offie. Salute to you too. So yeah, guys. I mean, being a normie is it's an arduous life, right? It's actually not. It's actually the opposite of living an arduous life. Life's easy and cheesy when you're just painfully ignorant. And what do they say? The old saying is ignorance is bliss, right? And if you want to live that kind of life, if you just want to live, ignorantly, like that's totally okay. Just don't go and regurgitate that onto other people and then try to push how you believe on other people and make people, forcibly make people think the same way that you do, right? I don't do that. I don't go in the street and shove my opinion on people. Quite frankly, most people that I'm not associated with one-on-one, closely, I won't even tell them. I would never even tell them my opinion about something. If someone said something to me like, "Hey, how do you think about that orange man, that orange guy? What do you think about him?" It's like, I don't know much about him. He just seems like one of those guys with lots of money, and yeah, he's just one of those guys. Hey, what do you think about the ice cream man? Yeah, I don't know much about him. He just seems like he's kind of old and sleepy, but I mean, he just seems like one of those guys, right? You don't have to go and tell these people this stuff, and you could do something like this. You could start a podcast and maybe voice your opinion that way. But again, because normies are indeed normies, they're never going to look inside themselves. And they're never going to say, all right, something's wrong here. Something's obviously wrong in the world, right? Things aren't the way that they're supposed to be. I can be doing better than this. I should be doing better than this. And let's chop. Let's get on it. The next day I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up early tomorrow morning, and I'm going to put some work in, right? I'm going to figure out how to do this. See, the thing that differentiates me and other people that I know like me, right? And I'm not over here saying that I am Chad Thundercock. All right, guys. I wish that guy was in the chat. The guy with the name Chad Thundercock, whatever his name was last time. He had a strong username. I think it was Chad Brunders Wickenhagen. But anyway, I'm not saying that I'm over here being Chad Thundercock, right? But I have this sick mental disease. All right. I've spent probably pretty much the entire year 2020, I spent a lot of money on self-improvement and a lot of time, effort, and energy. And one of those things that I did for self-improvement was go to therapy, go to traditional medical therapy, right? Not healing therapy for healing a gym injury. I'm talking about therapy with a therapist where you sit down in a bed or on a table, not a bed, sorry guys, not a table, on a sofa or on a chair, right? And you talk to this person, right? And I probably spent throughout the whole year, maybe $6,000 or $7,000 with this therapist, right? I had to pay for all out of pocket because my insurance wouldn't cover therapy because they couldn't give me a diagnosis because essentially I didn't have anything mentally, clinically wrong with me. I wasn't clinically or mentally ill, right? But what I learned about myself is that I have this I actually have a disease. It is a rare disease per se. And it's okay, not being facetious, guys. It's not a disease, but my mental issue that I have is that I'm never comfortable sitting still. And I don't mean that literally, but also that is part of that. That does coincide with the I guess we can call it the mental trait that I have. But I'm never comfortable sitting still in life. I've pretty much constantly in my life, from basically back for as far as I can know, since I was a little kid doing this with video games or skateboarding or anything, I was always trying to make what I had and what I did better. I was always having to work on something. I had to beat a video game 10 times over. I had to have a character way better than all my friends. I had to become a skateboarder and learn how to skate. I had to go to karate and become a black belt. And I had to do a triple black belt. And then I had to try this and I had to do that. And everything that I had to do it to the fullest extent, literally all or nothing, right? Did it with bodybuilding, did it with school, I did it with jobs. I do it with a lot of things, right? I'm probably gonna be doing that with YouTube here, if I have not already started now. So like that's just how I am. I'm an all or nothing guy. And if I ever just stall out on something and don't make progress with it, I'll fucking panic. I'll be like, fuck, oh God, I got to do all this stuff. Oh my God, I got to get up at 4 a.m. I got to do all this stuff at like 4 a.m. I can get up, and I'll just freak out. And, I'll build up energy to where I have to boom, I got to get the next step. All right. And then when I get there, I don't take the time to relax. I just can't. I lack the ability to relax. I absolutely hate going to clubs. I hate going to parties and social events unless it's like, my really, really close inner circle, right? I hate spending money on things that are like leisurable. Not all the time, but like, more than most people, I don't like spending money on things that are leisurable. If it doesn't aid and embed me in my quest to doing what I want to do, then I'm like, I don't want anything to do with it, right? And the therapist would basically tell me, like, you have this thing that's like, you have to push everything so far the envelope that, it makes you uncomfortable just being normal and just standing still. And when she told that to me, I was like, it kind of hit me because I was like, yeah, that's true. But, and I was discussing this with my good buddy Fido. He's been on the show before, guys. He has the same problem as me. I've never seen another kid work so hard in his life other than me, than this kid. All right. He's fucking killed it in life so far, especially this year. And he had a very high goalpost to get over too, especially in the last year and a half of his life. And he's just absolutely killed it, but he's the same way. And I kept telling him he had this specific goal that he had. All right. And I know him because he's literally just like me. I told him he had this specific goal. If I could just become a software engineer, man, I'll take a job. I would take it like just $45K. Right. That's it for a software engineer position, which if it was his first one and he was struggling that desperate for it, I would have advised him to take the job and then to just immediately continue to look elsewhere and then job hop. But don't tell the boomers that, guys. You're not supposed to jab hap. You're supposed to be stable and be a good boy. Don't you care about the company family? Don't you care about the family company? Don't you care about them? Don't you want to be a good man? But anyway, I was telling him, and there was times where he was like, I don't know if I'm going to do. I don't know if this is actually going to happen. And I told him, look, dude, it's going to happen. It's at the point now to where it's literally a numbers game, and you are being extremely resilient. So I mean, it's inevitability, right? But it could happen tomorrow, right? It could happen in 2 hours. It could happen in 2 weeks. It could happen in 2 months. It could happen in 2 years, right? Most likely not 2 years, but it could happen in 2 years. And when it does happen, you're gonna wish that you took more time to relax and to chill out in the moment and slow down, because as soon as it happens, you're going to say to yourself, all right, what's next? This isn't good enough. This ain't going to cut it. What's next? And that's exactly what he did. 2 weeks in, he had an existential crisis, and he called me like, dude, you were right. Like, I want more. I want more, man. I want more money. I want more knowledge. I want more power. I want more responsibility. Fucking lay it on me. What do I have to do? And I'm like, dude, it's been 2 weeks. Let's calm down for a second, right? Maybe you can put your effort somewhere else in your life other than your regular 9 to 5, right? Which, by the way, not a normal 9 to 5 because he's a digital nomad. Shout out to the digital nomads in the chat here. But he did putting extra effort in all areas of his life, and he's on maybe he's closing up on his 6th month in like 1 or 2 weeks at the same company. He's on his 3rd promotion now, right? He's already promoted to a software architect position, which takes some people. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. It takes some people literally 10 to like 20 years to become a software architect. All right. Now, granted, he's working at a startup, and he's probably the most capable person out of all of his team. But he went from being like a junior developer / customer service assistant. So he basically had to take in complaints from people with the broken software, deal with the actual client, unlike most developers, because most developers would never, ever be able to fucking deal with clients, and then go and fix the code too. He went from that to managing those people to now being an architect, which is a pretty big deal, right? Or maybe you guys don't know it is a big deal, right? And the same thing goes for him. As soon as one thing is done, he's on to the next, right? And I have that same problem. And I know I went on a long spiel about that, guys, all right? But my point being is, if that's a disease, if that's a bad trait, for all intents and purposes, that's fine. Let's say that that's a bad trait, okay? You want to call that a bad trait, that's totally fine. I'm sick. I'm mentally ill. I want better in my life. I want to do better than my family did so that my kids can do better than me if I do have kids, all right? I want a better life. I want to be free. I want to be sovereign, all right? I want to have the lifestyle of freedom that I was told my entire life is impossible. Then I have an illness, all right? But what's the other side of the coin? Most people have this next illness that I'm about to talk about, because there is a second version of this illness, and it's similar to the first one that I talked about and discussed. I claimed to have myself, all right? Claimed for Fido to have the illness where you can't stop doing good and you always do better. Okay, there's an illness where people literally can't do anything. It's like they're paralyzed in life. They're like frozen in life. They're unable to move forward. They're unable to do self-reflection. They're unable to put words to action. They're unable to stay consistent. They're unable to not give up. They're unable to just dream about the things that they want in life, right? And okay, and there's a lot more to that second one too. And we can talk about it if you guys want, but it's not like it's not like they're out murdering babies in the street, right? But they're doing their lives a disservice. They're not doing anything to better themselves. They're just basically living in a state of constant mediocrity, right? And maybe some of these exact same people aren't just living in a state of mediocrity. They're just they can't pay their rent on time. They're not taking steps and actions instead of saying, I can't afford this place. I gotta lease on a place I can't afford. I need to go find a way to make more money. It's like, no, it's not fair. It's not fair. If they start something to learn some sort of skill, they quit because they're like, oh, that's just not for me. Well, maybe it's not for you, but you should at least go through it all the way, right? You're still responsible for doing that. They get into a car accident. They don't think to themselves, man, is there something that could have changed in my timeline in the last hour that I could have done differently to avoid that, even if the person hit them? Because that's the first thing I'm thinking. Like, if I get hit by a car, I'm like, that motherfucker. But still, right after, I'm like, what could I have done to avoid that? Maybe I shouldn't have gone down that street. Maybe I should have known that street was fucking stupid because it's full of traffic, right? So we have two illnesses defined now, right? All right, so we can call them both illnesses if you're going to call the first one illness. The first illness, all right, benefits to your life. It adds to your life. It gives you more things. It gives you more time. It gives you more energy, more money, more power, more knowledge, more accomplishments, better sense of well-being, right? But it has a side effect, all right? It has a downfall to it, and it's that you can't ever just relax. You just can't relax. Maybe you need to go. Maybe you can, but you need to go to some extreme measures to relax. Maybe you need to put a whole entire bottle of horse tranquilizer up your butt to relax. All right. Not saying that's what I do, guys, but sometimes I might enjoy myself a bottle of butt horse tranquilizer on a Saturday night. Let's be facetious. Come on, guys. Come on. And the other illness, All right. The other illness just detracts from your life. It just takes away, and it just brings more negativity in your life. All right. It doesn't bring any positivity, no benefits. All right. Out of those two illnesses, which one would you choose? If you could just choose, be honest with yourself, not answer the question to me or someone else, right? You could take the two separate pills. One pill, you have financial freedom, you have pride in your accomplishments, you have respect from your peers, you have authority from your peers, you have property, you have the ability, you literally have the ability to go out and buy a nice Rolex if you want to buy a nice Rolex, right? Or, move to a separate country, another country if you want to do that. Because you earned it. You fought through hell to get there, right? And you earned it. And that's one pill, all right? And it's the side effect of this pill is that it's very hard for you to relax. And the other pill, you take it, your rent stops getting paid, you lose your job, and you can't instead of making the promise to never let that happen again. If you do, it won't matter because you'll do enough work on the side to where you won't need that job anyway, right? Sorry, we're talking about the negative pill, aren't we, guys? Yeah. So the negative pill, I mean, look, which one are you going to take, guys? All right. Which one are you going to take? I don't think I have to sit here and preach that to you, right? I think that's a pretty obvious selection, right? Cody Mouse in the chat says, it really do be like that. I get anxious if I'm not moving to the next level. Yeah. I mean, look, and the thing is, that's okay, right? And for my guys in here, like that feel that same way, like don't let people put you down. Don't let people metaphorically put fecal matter on you because you want to do better, right? Don't let them let them do it, but they should be so beneath you to where like there's voices they're speaking and you can't even hear them, right? Christian Soto says The Curse of the High IQ. Yep, that is a book by Aaron Clary, and it is indeed a curse to some people. Antonio says, Avi King, the podcast, salute, sir. Virenes 4 says, that kind of sounds like my situation. I want that programming job. Don't care about taking over the family business. Yeah, I mean, so you got a goal, and you don't want to waver. You don't want to waver on your conquest there. Cody Mouse, I don't know. Sometimes the latter of the two seems to be so blissfully ignorant. Yeah, okay, so like, the only benefit of the latter of the two is that at the end of the day, Cody, you'd have to assume that the person that taking the other pill erases the knowledge that the first pill exists, right? And then in that case, you would be blissfully ignorant, right? Babe Honker says, move to a separate country. Wow, that's literally me. Yeah, there you go. Nothing wrong with having dreams and goals and ideas, right? No matter who you are or where you are. Wade Emery says, negative pill drags down society. Yeah. I mean, guys, look what's going on in society. Look, okay. Let me share my screen. I have this thing that someone just sent me, but I already knew about it. Let's talk about society being dragged down, Mr. Wade Emery. Because that is something that I always love to discuss. So check this out, guys. Wells Fargo is closing all personal lines of credit. Wonder why. In a move that surely will make a negative impact on the credit scores of some of its customers, Wells Fargo announced Wednesday that it will no longer offer personal lines of credit. Period. One of the biggest banks in the country is no longer going to be offering personal lines of credit. I wonder why. In what CNBC reports as a 6-page letter to Wells Fargo customers, the financial services company said it has, quote, decided to discontinue offering new personal and portfolio line of credit accounts and to close all existing accounts. Sam Perchinsky in the chat says WF is about to be broke. Yes, indeed. Let's be honest. All right. Let's be honest to ourselves. They're already broke. All these banks are broke, guys. Wake the fuck up. Cody Mouse, yikes.jpg. Indeed, my friend. Wells Fargo is shutting down all existing personal lines of credit. So my brothers and sisters out there who got a personal line of credit at Wells Fargo, RIP, sorry about you. Wells Fargo has previously offered revolving credit lines, typically between $3,000 and $100,000. According to reports, the letter gives customers 60 days notice. So yeah, they're basically like, hey, you might be dependent off this to be doing whatever you're doing in life right now, but sorry about you. Sorry about you. In a statement, Wells Fargo says these customers will no longer have access to that line of credit once the 60-day period ends. So I guess they're going to allow them to use it for 60 days and then bye-bye. Although they need to make regular minimum payments on their balances afterwards. So imagine that, guys. Imagine, you have a line of credit that you're dependent off of to live off, and you accept the responsibility, and you plan on you have a payment plan to pay it back over X amount of years or whatever, right? And then they just, maybe you haven't been able to use all of it yet. Maybe you've only used one. Maybe you're a very highly frugal individual. You're very economical. And what you do, so you've only used 1/10 of it, and you're planning the rest of the 9/10 of it to last you the next 5 years, so you can get the task or the goal accomplished that you want, that you were using this credit line for. And then they say, well, you can't use it anymore, and you gotta pay us back. You're fucked, right? In the letter, Wells Fargo told its customers that the closures may have an impact on your credit scores, and so if they want to go elsewhere, it's going to be harder for them now because their credit scores are going to be impacted. That was almost certainly be true for some people. All right. So I mean, we could sit there and talk about that all day, but look what's going on, guys. Come on, all right. Now look, people are, hey, I know, hey guys, don't tell anybody. I have a solution. I got a solution for all this, guys. But shh, don't tell, because I want you guys to come in with me, all right? Look, I know you guys feel the same way. We don't want those normie motherfuckers coming on the boat with us, all right? All right, we don't want them on the boat, all right? So let's just make sure that tell your mom and dad about it, all right? And tell your mom and dad, but just don't tell the normies, okay? Okay? But in all seriousness, though, look what's going on. And people are concerned about variant 1270917 from Brazil is coming to destroy us all. We got to take another one of the jabs. Oh, no, got to take another jab because the first 10,000 jabs didn't work that you've been taking inside of you since you were a fucking, first day out of your mom's, that thing. Yeah, first day you came out of that thing, they were shoving stuff in you, and they all didn't. All of it for nothing, right? All of it for nothing. Oh yeah, and guys, remember the time we were wearing the old. Looks like it didn't work, right? Because we're gonna have to start doing it again. Because now there's another one coming, right? And oh yeah, those the jabs you took before, they don't work. You gotta take another one now. Oh, and by the way, go back inside your house. We know we told you guys that all you had to do was, take the thing, and then everyone can be free again, right? Even though in reality we were already free. We were just allowing them we were allowing that to happen, right? Didn't work. Got to go get another one because the first time wasn't good, and it's just going to happen over and over and over again until people wake the fuck up. And people are concerned about that. A real Ponzi scheme, right? People are concerned about this fake bullshit being sprinkled over our heads every day, everywhere we go, all right, to hide from the fact of what's really going on. To hide from the fact that these fuckers are just trying to shuffle us around, rustle our jimmies, so they have enough time to finish trying to piece back together their failing financial system, right? Meanwhile, this is going on right here, right? Right? I mean, come on, guys, come on, wake up. Seriously, I'm not kidding, guys. Wake the fuck up. I know most of my guys in here, y'all are orange pilled, right? But to the boom daddies out there watching the normies, have fun staying poor. That's all I got to say. All right. Because guess what? They don't want to have a middle class anymore, right? They don't want to have an upper middle class. They don't want to have a lower middle class. They don't want to have an upper middle class, right? They only want them and the poor. And not just the poor. I'm talking about impoverished, all right? Go to Venezuela. How many Venezuela bolivars does it cost? Does one Big Mac in Venezuela? Does one Big Mac, just one Big Mac in Venezuela cost? All right. Somebody Google it. Let me know. But you might be surprised, right? And meanwhile, we're worried about all this other bullshit that doesn't even exist. All right. They're doing that for a reason, guys. All right. This is all just fake. The whole world we know and live in is fake. All right. And if you can't realize the world is changing, if you can't accept your flaws, if you can't just go into that literal second gear of thinking, right? I mean, it's okay. You don't have to stay in the first gear the whole time. You can go faster than 20 miles per hour in your mind, right? You look, trust me, you can question something. You can question something, and you also have the ability to say, I need to get better at that. Maybe I should try a little harder. Boom, now we're in second. Next thing you know, you got a little momentum going. Hey, second gear is not too bad. I'm going 35 miles per hour. Maybe I can survive at 45. Boom, third. Next thing you know, a year or two later, you're all the way in sixth gear, cruising down the highway, 85 miles per hour. All right. Babe Honker says, yes, brokey for sure. Yep, they're going brokey before. I wonder when this also happened. 2008. Big think right there, Babe Honker. Yeah, exactly. When did the last time that institutions were closing accounts, right? We know. San Francisco says, use line of credit to buy ETH, loan against ETH, pay off credit line. Boom, baby. This is not financial advice, guys. Not financial advice, all right? Nick Sledge in the chat says, credit card is my line of credit. Swear to God, these guys would give me 100K in credit card if I asked. Yep, they probably would. They probably would, right? Especially if you were, a non-degenerate and you pay off your credit card and you use it the way you're supposed to, right? You use it the same way you use your debit card before you have a credit card. And instead of just instead of just not paying it off and saying, "Oh, I got paid this weekend. I'm gonna use my cash and fuck paying that credit card off." Right? No. Then you pay off with your debit card, with your checking account, and then you reap the rewards of the credit card, right? And just that process continues. And actually, it's easier to do that, than to just paying using one account, having to pay all kinds of different bills. Pay all kinds of different bills with your checking account. Excuse me, guys. The Perrier got me burping in here. Then, why are we talking about credit cards? This is sorry, guys. Look, credit cards about to be a thing of the past. At least the way that we use them. But that doesn't mean you can't use them, right? If you're going to use a credit card, use it responsibly. Okay. Don't be dumb about it. Nick Sedge also can borrow off of stock holdings or crypto. Yes, indeed. Speaking of credit cards being a thing of the past, at least the way we know them. Right there. That's why. Right? You're going to have a credit card, but it's not going to, all right. Not everyone's going to have a credit card in the future. Only a certain people who, certain amount of people who got the message in the memo and didn't decide to give up. All right. But other than that, the rest will be in shambles. Cody Mouse, that's some big wrinkle brain shit, fam. Yep, indeed. Mike, they want more shutdowns this winter. I mean, they're going to, right? I mean, we already know, right? I mean, before the first week of the first ones, people were already out there saying yo, they're gonna do this and they're gonna repeat the process over again in the winter. Let's see. I'm willing to bet some cash on that's gonna happen. Cody Mouse, probably a milli for the Big Macs. Yeah. Big Mac emojis in the chat. VZ Jinx says, evening, gents. Right now, I'm 19, and I see the line being drawn in the sand from those who will be wage slaves and those that want enlightenment. VZ Jinx. Everybody give this man geez, 19 years old. God damn. I wish I was that based at the age of 19. my friend, if you keep that same mindset you got right now and you keep pushing forward, you're gonna surpass the fuck out of me in about 3.14 apple pie seconds. Christian Soto says 17,500,000 bolivars for one Big Mac. Holy shit. You guys see the intro for my show, right? In the year 2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. Written by the gospel of John McAfee, may God rest his soul. You think that's a joke, right? And it's funny because it is funny, right? And it is kind of a joke, but guys, a $1 million Big Mac is by the year 2028, it's not far-fetched, right? I mean, look at this comment right here. Go to Google it, guys, all right? Why do you think one Big Mac in Venezuela costs $17.5 million in their currency? Well, gee, Willikers, I don't know. Would that have something to do with them printing a bunch of fake money? No, Jimmy, don't worry. Nick Sledge says, no more blank downs. Blank that. Yes, indeed. I'm happy down here. I never have to go back up north. Yeah, screw the north, man. Look at London. I see a pandemic every 4 years at this point. Yeah, look, guys, it's already too late because it's already too late to live inside of a highly governed country now, because they already know that they can just snap their fingers and take everyone's rights away. And they don't have to snap their fingers. Everyone's going to say, please take our rights away. I beg you. Oh, omnipotent and omnipowerful government, please take our rights away. Please save us. Take our rights away. We're incapable of being sovereign. Please take our rights away. I don't want to have to think and use my brain. I'd rather let you do it for me. Right? They already know. They already know what's up. So yeah, it's too late. All places will, right? Hey, I tell you what, if you're a techno pirate living on a hot dude yacht, you living that John McAfee life, you don't have to worry about that, right? Because is there any lockdowns in a silent yacht in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean? I don't think so. Well, London is shutting down again. Yeah, I think parts of Cali are already shutting down again. Guys, again, they tried to buy more time to fix their fucking Ponzi scheme, and they couldn't. All right, so now they're gonna try to stall more time again. All right, and the thing is, guys, don't worry. All right. Because this is happening, right? You see this guy in the top right corner right here? Yeah. Every time they do that, right? Have we ever seen anything like that in history? Not even with the tulip mania, right? Have we ever seen anything like that in history? And then, oh my God, the boomer coin, it's all over. It's a failure. It's going to zero because it's $33,000 in December. It was $10,000. It's going to zero. Oh my God. Wake up, people. Come on. Safe to say, if you're watching this right now with 18 viewers, you're probably on to something. Hey guys, maybe we're starting to grow because we got some smart people in here. Max Dignitas in the chat says, that Big Mac better do my laundry for at least 10 years. Man, it's going to cost you probably 10x that of what a Big Mac is for Max, let me give you mod in the chat real quick. Is Max modded in the chat? Let me check the actual YouTube. I think you're modded, Max, but I want to make sure. Let me be 100% sure, because Max, I need to make sure you can keep the normies at bay when need be. Nick Sledge says, wait till there still places with blank downs even now. Oh, blank downs. Okay, yeah, that's right. Blank downs. Blank downs. It's July 2021. July 2021, the year of crypto fun, was dubbed by Jonathan MLD, and it has indeed been the year of crypto fun, my friends. Bars, Hoso Chain, we're dropping them. Meme NFTs are the new tulips. Yeah, okay. Meme NFTs, they are the new tulips. But hey, don't hate on meme NFTs, all right? Don't hate on my meme NFTs, bro, all right? Chill, dude, chill. Matt W says, "Sup, Josh? What's up, Matt? Time to grow some real food." Yeah, and this is also things you can do, right? That can set you up for not being poor in the future. I have a friend, a high school friend from back at home, childhood friend, one would say. He is indeed orange pilled, and he is actually nobody knows who he is. He's a doctor. All right. He loves to grow his own food. He's been doing it for like 10 years, and he's got all kinds of like exotic foods he grows. I think it's really cool, man. Like, I think that's one of the coolest things you can do. Pablo Busco in the house says, forgive me, but is that one of those currencies, cryptocurrencies? I've heard that it's going to zero. Yes, my friend. Don't worry. We forgive you. We forgive you. It's all going to zero. Please sell it to me directly right now for $0. In fact, you should pay me to give it to me. Christian Soto says, Matt, yep, Mr. Soto, I'm glad you guys are talking together and familiar. Matt says, you can eat wild plants too, worst case. They taste bitter, but many of them have more nutrition than garden vegetables. Huh, I didn't know that. Well, which wild plants? Just random wild plants? I mean, guys, I don't know if anybody here knows how to fish, but man, I fancy myself quite the fisherman. I spent a lot of time in my earlier years fishing, and actually, I really fucking love to do it. I haven't had the time to fish, and like probably the last probably 4 years. In the last 4 years, probably gone fishing like maybe like 3 times. That's it. All right, but I mean, you can always catch fish too, right? Now, where were we, guys? I got distracted with the chat. Oh, that's right. The normies. So, okay. Would you like to have fun being poor? Does that sound like does staying poor and being fucked in the future and being crippled and dependent on the government because that's what they want? Does that sound to you like an entertaining life to live? Hey, it might be entertaining, right? Does it sound like a life full of positivity where you own nothing, but don't worry, you'll be happy. You'll own nothing, but you'll be happy. Say goodbye to buying your first house. First-time homeowners or future hope for first-time homeowners, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. You want to be able to let that happen? Well, or just having the ability to be free and sovereign, make your own money from wherever you are located, not be dependent on one place, one person, or one entity. And if you are, you're not dependent off them. You're just choosing to have them in your life. Does that sound nice? Maybe on a boat somewhere, sailing the 7 seas, using your whacked tokens to purchase things. Anybody have any whack tokens? Any whack token holders in here? How does that sound? Does that sound entertaining? Maybe both lives sound entertaining. Maybe a life getting the shit kicked out of me 24/7 by the good old Uncle Samaruski. It might be entertaining. I have to fight back. So anytime you got to have an uphill battle, sure, it's entertaining. But let's look at this country over here, guys. Take a peek. Take a peek at this country. I wonder if you guys, who thinks they know what country I'm going to pull up right here. Let's take a look at this. Take a peek-a-rooski, guys. At this country. You guys ready? Think you guys know what country I'm talking about? Do you? You think you know? Think of this country here, guys. How would you like to live here? I'm probably going to get in trouble for just putting this on the stream. How would you like to live here? Where there's about 100 people who have all the wealth and all the power, and no matter how hard you try, if you're not in those top 100 people, even if you're smart, even if you're capable, even if you're hardworking, and you're willing to get the shit kicked out of you to get what you want in life, you can't because you're locked in a fucking cage. Would you guys like to live like that? Does that sound like a good life to live? Because, if that does, then again, have fun staying poor. What's another country? What's another country that might come to mind, guys? There's a lot of stuff going on right now, literally within the last 48 hours. What this one? This is like a kind of place you want to live? Do you want to have to be so terrified of having to go find a way to get food for your family and for yourself that you'd rather get on a bamboo tree and float in an ocean filled with sharks and who the fuck knows what else lies in that goddamn ocean, deep down there at night, krakens, man of wars, Loch Ness monster, right? Seriously though, like, is this a country you guys want to live in? Because if so, then hey, all you gotta do is keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about accepting the truth and just stay right here in America. All right? Don't worry about, ignore this guy in the top right corner here. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Don't worry about the fact that you're still working a dead end job. All right. And anyone else who does anything other than that, they're a fucking asshole. They're a prick. They're a fucking prick. All right. Don't worry about that. There's no need to take self-reflection to look back into yourself and say, hey, how can I make my life better? Right. Because that's where you're going. Right? It's simple, right? But if you don't want to live in either of those two places, then maybe you might want to, I don't know, wake the fuck up, accept responsibility for your actions, take the time, effort, and energy to make yourself better, right? Back to another thing about that too, like, again, the guy in the webinar last night, he was saying, people literally verbally shit on him because he started trying to do something different in his life to make himself better. Like, look, the reason why you don't have to care that that's happening is because those people, that's where they're going. They're going to zero, right? They're going to zero, okay? They're literally going to zero. And you're not going to be there, right? You're not going to be nowhere near them. So, like, who cares? Babe Honker says, you don't make time to fish, Josh. That's true. All right. I do not make time to fish. I do not. Mike says, trading all my UBI Biden bucks for ETH. Here we go, guys. We get another round of applause tonight goes to Mac in the chat. Good job, my friend. You are indeed a genius. Matt W says, just Google it. One of them is dandelion leaves and roots. Yeah, very bitter bit, but nutrient dense. Yeah, dandelion leaves, they make you pee. They actually taste good. They taste like sunflowers. Low key, I've eaten some dandelions before. Shh, don't tell anybody. VC Jinx, only business that can stay open are big corporations because they are essential. Essential. Like if Domino, right, yeah, and Domino's is essential, but small business can get rug pulled. They don't want you to build wealth. Yeah, guys, again, if you can't wake the fuck up, if you can't just do it, right? Just do it. Do it. Do it. Look, if you can't look inside, if you can't look in that mirror without too much pain to where you can't say, hey, this person is doing this thing over here. Like, it's fuck. That's actually cool. How can I get me some of that? What can I do to change? All right. If you can't wake up, open your eyes, all right, realize that the news doesn't care about you at all. Okay, the news does not care about you. That it's a possibility that they might be lying to you about stuff and might have always been lying to you. All right. If you can't join us on the new world, all right. If looking at this right here gives you bad feelings instead of good ones, all right, then RIP. Then you're going to be a part of the same system that goes on in NKOREA and Cuba. I'm definitely catching some fish in the mini creeks and rivers nearby. Me, worst case. Yeah, I mean, anybody ever eaten freshwater bass? They're actually not that bad. It just kind of tastes like whitefish. Throw a little bit of little crackers on top of them, something, I don't know, deep fry them, whatever you got to do. Make sure you're fishing in a fucking pond. Make sure you remove the worms. But yeah, it's a great time right now to not be overweight and practice running. Moving fast is more valuable than body armor and extra weight. Very true. Worst case, better to run and hide and think you're Rambo. I agree with that. Matt. And that's coming from a very large body armored up individual. In the last year and a half of my life, I've been kind of on a process to lose muscle mass. Babe Hawker, South Africa. Oh, I was wrong. Yeah, that too. And they don't even have banks in South Africa, so they have a different problem. Not all place, but in Africa in general, some places don't even have banks. Matt W says Caleb Jones recommends moving to Uruguay, Paraguay, and Chile. I have a client who is currently living in one of those three. Cannot say which one. Well, he's temporarily living there. He escaped the United States at the ripe old age of 22 to go down there and buy a house with $15,000 cash money, baby. Got an entire house. Not only did he buy a house, he basically bought property and was able to build a whole new house on top there for that much money. So he's because he sees the writing on the wall. He knows what's up, and also he's part of DD. So the kid's been woken. The kid's been woken, and he's making moves. All right. Matt W says, look at me. I'm a dime a dozen obese nurse on TikTok, and I'm a hero because I'm essential. Yay. Yeah, exactly. Like, my God. The world is filled with some. Yeah. Yeah, the world is filled with some characters, isn't it, fellas? But, guys, for the ones in here who actually do feel the opposite way, for my guys out there who actually want to better themselves in life, actually want to fulfill their purpose, who actually have a plan and a goal and have calculated steps put into motion, y'all aren't going to have to worry, right? In fact, you might worry a little bit, right? Life might continue to be a battle for you because, when you achieve when you have finally reached the level of being a full-fledged sovereign individual, and you're one of the very, very few people, because the rest of the country and the rest of the nation is now 100% dependent off the country, and literally less than 1% that are sovereign on their own accord are big red target to everybody else. Yeah, then it might be a little hard for you, right? Then you're probably gonna have to escape. Guys, anybody in here ever read the book The Sovereign Individual? Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you escape and you make it your way and you're sovereign, that's all you need, right? Because you're sovereign, you're not gonna need anyone else or anything. Maybe just your friends or family or something, right? Maybe you got a dog, maybe you got some dog money, right? But hey. Pablo, while on the grind, freedom or better wage, which would you choose? Okay, so out of the two, now I would choose freedom because I have the ability to make money outside of a regular 9 to 5, right? Not to say I wouldn't ever take a 9 to 5. I have a 9 to 5, right? But it's just I have a 9 to 5 now that's on my terms, and it's actually not a quote 9 to 5. It's just I am a salaried employee for one of my forms of income, right? But for me it'd be different, Pablo, because I know you and you're younger. Like, the only way to get to that point is to currently build and stack up with what you're working with right now, right? And if you have to have good income and the ability to procure more money in the first place to achieve that sovereignty, right? Doesn't come for free, right? People don't just hand people hundreds of $1,000s to write code or something like that have never earned the right, that don't know how to code, right? People don't if you're a brain surgeon, no one's gonna pay you that money to work on someone's brain if you didn't go and establish yourself as a brain surgeon in the effective manner to do so, right? So you have to work yourself there. So in the beginning, I would choose a better wage, but I would not look at that as hey, this is who I am, this is what I have. I would look at that more so as this is a means to an end. This is just a tool for me, nothing more, nothing less. Perfect example. You're working at a company, right? If you're working for a corporate organization, you are in essence you are a tool to them. You are human capital to them. That's what you are, right? So, don't fall for this is a family company. This is real. We're a family company, right? You're a tool to them. You're an asset. So you know what? Flip the frame back onto them. Make them be your asset. You don't have to tell them that, because in the same way they don't tell you that, and then use that and just repeat the process several times while you're building and grinding, and then you'll have freedom. But let's just say like this, Pablo. We'll make that question harder. So like, what if I had $100 million, right? What if I had $1 billion? If I had $1 billion, and then would I choose better wage or freedom? I mean, I would just choose freedom because I already have $1 billion, right? So if you focus on the other stuff in the beginning, freedom is basically all you want in the end, right? And that's my ultimate goal in life is freedom. I value freedom to the fullest extent over anything else. In fact, if they were to come here and tell me that I had to get the old Jabberooski, I'd be like, nah, I'm not doing it. Like, literally just kill me. Literally just kill me and lock me up. Because I would rather die a free man than a slave. Matt W says, first rule of Dude Club, don't get the vax. VACKS, guys. The vacuum. Don't get the vacuum cleaners. Second rule of Dude Club, don't get the vacuum cleaners. Third rule, buy crypto and get financially free. Another round of applause for Matt W. Nick Sledge says, get that money in your 20s. Need to build that cash foundation when you were young. Amen. And not like the way that the boomers say it either, right? We can go back to boomer, talk about that too. Like a 401k. Like, okay. Aaron Clary actually good old Cappy did a video about 3 hours ago of a 69-year-old boomer lady asking him for financial help. Basically, she has a 401k that she, I think she's a relatively good paid person. I think together her and her husband made like $200,000 a year. All right, they have about $660,000 in their 401k. Honestly, guys, yikes. That's not a lot of money to live, to have to be dependent off the rest of your life, right? And so then basically her problem was that she has to wait for till X amount of years in her life so she can get Social Security too. And why? And you guys will see all this too. The boomers, they all have to wait until they can get full Social Security because they can't live off of their 401k. They can't live off of that thing that they were told was going to be a good idea for them, right? So again, $660,000 it's not enough. It sounds like a lot of money off the bat, but guys, that could be 3 years of life right there. That could be a weekend in Miami. No joke, but I mean, obviously a little bit of jokes there, right? But still, okay. You are never going to be wealthy or financially free by saying, okay, I'm gonna get wealthy by using my 401k. Right. They were told that, right? They were told that, and now look, they can't depend on it. Okay. Now I'm not trying to shit on a 401k. I'm not saying that you can't use a 401k as a tool in your arsenal to achieve that. I have a 401k. There's not a whole lot left in there right now. I'll tell you that much because that money has gone elsewhere, and it has already taken the tax hit on it, and it has already let's just say it was worth it. But, like if you guys, if you have to depend off of like some forced savings plan that is kind of basically like pushed onto you by the government and by the financial system to be able to like have money trickled into your account once a month after the age of 68 to be happy and financially free, then you already fucked up, right? In my mind, if I'm not financially free by the age of like 35, then I would be toast, right? And I basically kind of am already, guys. Like another thing, not to be Chadwick Thundercock over here, but I have a normal job as well, but I have like 4 streams of income, okay? Because I've spent so much time, money, and consistency. Yes, my own money I spent to make more money to get that accomplished, because at one point in my life, I was like, I'm never going to be dependent off of just one company ever again. Never. So, if you have to depend on those kind of things, like, you already fucked up, right? You already fucked up. And, even now, I'm technically financially free and can consider myself to be financially free. If I wanted to, I could just walk away from my day job. Wouldn't be able to live the same quality of life that I have been living. I wouldn't be able to buy as many of these things as I want to, right? But I mean, it gets to a point where one day I won't need to buy anymore, right? Or one day I'm on to something else. One day money isn't as important to me because I already have, enough to keep me free. But you're not going to get there by the age of 35 by putting your money in a 401k, right? In my mind, I that's how I felt, right? And even though technically now I'm basically financially free, like I get 100% for survive my own. I'm not where I want to be yet, right? I'm not where I want to be yet. So I'm not going to give up. So you need to be working, just like Nick says in this comment right here. You need to be working in your 20s as much as you possibly can. Look, if you're past the age of 25 and you're far away from the six-figure mark, and your goal is to be a sovereign individual, and you have less than, like, I don't know, how much money would a normie 25-year-old have in their checking account, or how much money worth of assets would a normie 25-year-old have? Probably like less than 100, honestly. But if you're at that point, you have less than $25,000 in assets or cash or something in your name, and you don't have a skill or the ability to get more to do that, then like better hurry the fuck up, because you might be having trouble. I mean, again, you could 10x your speed, and you can get with the right people and ask people to help, and you could put your pride aside and admit that you have the work to do, but like, might be uphill battle for you, right? Nick's Legend. Then when you are older, trade money for freedom. Yeah, exactly. Cody Mouse. Oh, I've seen plenty of people make over 100K who don't know how to code. Yeah, for sure. Indeed, it's definitely. I mean, you don't have to know how to code to make 100K. There's plenty of things you can do. Matt W. Fourth rule: if you're winded easily, if you're overweight, if you go limp during the apocalypse from running from your life is over. So get in fighting and running shape ASAP. Yeah, for sure, indeed. What do you do? Side note, Cody Mouse. What do you do for multiple streams of income? Well. Right here, this is one, right? I mean, I have clients here. This is two. I have clients here. 3, I have rental property, although I'm selling it now, and so basically, like, I will amass a certain amount of income for this year, but it should last me for quite some time. And then 4 would be, I don't really have a 4th now because I lost it in a boating accident, but and I wouldn't really consider that a fourth stream of income, but one could consider that a 4th stream of income. I am working on a full, legitimate 4th one right now, though, and it's not finished. So no one knows about it yet, but it's not really a finished thing. So there's no reason to talk about it. But yeah, Cody, that's the those are the things right now. Those are the multiple streams. So yeah, Sam Perchinski says, "What do you need for a residence permit down in UR?" Oh boy. Uruguay. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what, though. If Uruguay does indeed decide to take the orange pill, then I can guarantee you they'll probably give you, and they set up mining rigs there. I can guarantee they'll probably give you citizenship for a boomer coin, or if you buy them one, like I think what's it called? What is El Salvador doing that? If you buy X amount of money in their volcano Bitcoin bonds, they give you citizenship as well. Nick's Legend says, boomers retiring is hilarious. My grandparents have been retired for ages. California, government pensions, cash. Yeah, and then look at the state too. So, I don't even know if our Nick, you're about my age. I don't think our family is going to be able to like reap the full benefits of their their retirement funds and Social Security, because I think that things are about to get very, very, very mixed up, we could say, in the next decade. Babe Hunker says, smash like and subscribe or I will honk at you. Yeah, guys, if you guys have appreciated and enjoyed what's been going on so far, please smash the like, please subscribe, give me some love. Give me some love, make me feel better, guys. Matt W says, my goal is several income streams and freedom by 45. Senior TBH, yeah, solid goal, man. Nothing wrong with that. And guess what, Matt? Like we were talking about earlier too, people around you, if you were to probably verbally express it to people around you would be like, me. Christian said a $3. $3 what? $3 how? Oh yeah. What's the average normie 25-year-old's net worth? $3. Normie 25-year-old has minus 100K. Yeah. Yeah. We're talking the actual net worth. Yeah. Because they're probably in debt for a college degree and underwater basket weaving that they can't do anything with. And they have no useful skill to produce real income. So they actually have a negative net worth and will continue to go on and continue to add negative to that number. Another reason why the way we are, the system is the way that it is right now too, is because people aren't helping, right? People are everyone's doing the same thing they've been doing the last 20, 30 years. Be a good boy. Be a good boy. Go to good boy school. Go get your good boy job. Be a good boy at the company. Don't ask for a raise. That's too mean. Hey, don't job hop. You need to be consistent. You want to go over there because they want to give you 20K more a year? What about the company family? Don't buy an investment property. It's a bad idea. Don't speak out of line. Don't forget to get the jab. Can't forget about the jab, can we, guys? Matt W. A normie might have next month's worth covered. That's it. Yeah, if even that. True. Pablo Busco says hashtag Celsius. Yep. I love Celsius, my dude. Spin Doctor, Tokyo Bay. What you mean, Spin Doctor? Tokyo Bay what? Clarify, please, kindly. Pablo Busco says, do you think that with all the responsibility you put on yourself, you'll probably end up dying faster? I feel that because a sovereign individual definitely has some sort of negative. Yeah, I definitely think I will definitely probably die earlier than most people do. At the same time, though, by then technology could be so far advanced that the normal year of death is 150 years, and maybe I die at 100. But I mean, look, for sure, man, for sure. Definitely if you're exerting so much, like, life is finite, right? And if you're exerting so much effort and energy all the time, and you're going to use up the bank if you don't ever properly replenish it too. And sometimes it's hard for me to have the time to properly replenish it. I do sometimes have way too many responsibilities. But again, I would rather have too much responsibilities than not enough, right? Kyle W says the good boys and girls drown themselves in debt. ... Break free. Indeed. Matt W says people around me say, quote, you need 401k and good job and bummer care and a woman with a good job to don't do this, don't do that. That was literally the company I just quit was holding me back, and I'm moving on. They're not happy. Yeah, I mean, another thing about like the traditional like working behind a desk at a company like route is like, you know, you're gonna feel like a child again. Like you're in after school care. Like, you know, what kind of how can you be a self-respecting individual if you literally view yourself as a child because you're treated like you're in after school care all day long? I mean, I don't think that's like good for anybody mentally, at least. Babe Honker, don't do this, don't do that. Oh no, sorry. I thought that you said 2 comments in a row. I didn't realize Babe Honker said that. Sorry, Babe Honker. That was addressed to you. Spin Doctor says you mentioned boating accident. Just kidding. Oh yeah, it wasn't Tokyo Bay. Sorry guys, a boating accident. Don Planet, what's the schedule for blockchain fundamental class? I'm just asking because I already used my off days for Cultivating Cryptos course. Their course is not going on at the same time as blockchain fundamentals. Their next course is going to be, don't quote me on it, but it's not going to be till the next quarter of the year. I know that at least. But the time for blockchain fundamentals All of our webinars are Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And they're anywhere between 1 to 4 hours long. Now, very, very rarely will they be 4 hours long. We would have to be past the 2-hour mark and vibing like super hard. Everyone's like, people are giving in feedback. Because honestly, guys, and the people, if there's anyone in the chat in my group, well, I mean, I'm looking at one of them right now. I know y'all know how it goes. Like when we're vibing and we're people are putting energy in there and people are asking questions and people are learning, getting stuff done. They can go on extra time, but they usually don't go on longer than that, Don. And then also at the same time, they're all recorded and then posted afterwards. So, Babe Honker, bro, I was top 3 in the area, and I never even tried. Top 3 at what? Boating accidents? I'm confused, Babe Honker. Could you clarify? Matt W, quote, your company, end quote, ain't your family, yet they treat you like you're a toddler. At their beck and call. But push come to shove, they don't care about you, and you're just a number. Seek self-employment. Here we go. We got 4 round of applauses tonight so far, guys. Different people. Somebody got 2 in the chat, I think, already. But yeah, 4. Damn, you guys are dropping more better advice in here than me tonight. Cody Mouse says, I'm about to go get into that blockchain fundamentals. Sure, dude, sign up. Would love to have you in there. Would definitely learn you about a boomer coin or 2. And guys, another thing too, it's a little bit off topic, but another thing I've realized about Web3 and just that whole part of the world that is obviously coming to dematerialize everything and rematerialize it into its realm. Whole thing about that is like, if you want the decentralization process to remain intact and you don't want it to be weighed too heavy in one favor of one place or people or group or something, right? Because then again, that would defeat the whole purpose of decentralization in the first place. You'd be doing not only yourself a good service, but all of mankind by like just running your own node. In blockchain fundamentals, people are going to learn how to run their own Ethereum node. It's a little bit harder with this guy right here. A little bit more work. I'm not talking about a mining rig for Boomercoin, just a simple full node, but I would like to do that too. I want to participate in that. I want to be a part of that. Because I love the fishes in the ocean and the sea. Just kidding. I actually do love Pablo in here. He'll tell you. I care more about the turtles, the sea turtles in the ocean, than I care about any of those people walking on the street down there. No lie, guys. 100%. Most of them are probably all guilty of doing something very, very wrong. And the sea turtles have never hurt. The sea turtles ain't never wronged nobody, right? Babe Honker, sales rep, LMFAO. They didn't even care. I brought them $3 million last year. Yeah, of course they don't care because they're like human asset. Give us our asset, human. Matt W. In the word of King Dre and Afi, we are quote unquote dropping jewels. Yeah, guys. Every guy in here, I mean, you guys are pretty based too. Of course, you guys would have to be based to sit here and listen to me talk and rant about this stuff on an impromptu stream. You guys would have liked Andrew. So come, it's going to be actually supposed to be, it was pushed to Friday. Now it's pushed to Monday. Come again next Monday. Next Monday stream is going to be good too. And then also on Wednesday, I'm going to have Greg B in the house again to talk about Boomer Finance, and we're going to target the stream as if we're speaking to boomers, and we're going to help them understand why they need to take the orange pilleth. All right, guys, an hour and 43 minutes. Should I keep going? What do you guys want? Do you guys want to keep going? You guys want to what do you guys want to see? You guys want to see me put the boomer coin suppository up the old anal cavities? Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Can't do that on stream, guys. Can't do that. That'd be too much, right? All right, guys. I think I'm gonna call it there because I'm hungry and I would like to go eat. then also walk my dog, and then go lay in my bed. You know, actually, I'm probably going to take a bath tonight, too. I'm going to take a hot, steaming bath. So, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you guys enjoyed this stream, if you guys enjoy me, or just do it, guys. Just do it. Do it, okay? Again, I apologize. I was supposed to have Andrew on from Legal Mindset, and we had to end up doing an impromptu one, but I hope you guys liked it anyway. Otherwise, I'm out. For my guys here that I know personally, I will see y'all elsewhere, and good night.